I guess the first thing we're just kind of curious about is how you came to Augusta's name. I know that Adrienne mentioned that you came to her with her name, and I was just wondering, like, what stuck out to you about Augusta specifically.
Well, how I came about her name was I started doing genealogy a long time ago, like in 2011. And just by building my family tree, her name popped up as my grandmother's mother. And I became interested in it because of her last name. After Googling her last name, I realized I found that, um, that she was part of the Loomis family, which is a prominent name in that area during that time. I became very interested in finding out how she was connected. And of course, I was doing genealogy on both my mother and father's side. So, of course, that was a part of it, that I needed to explore.
Could we ask more specifically about the process? Was it difficult? Was it hard when you uncovered certain information? Were you happy? Was there information that you decided to share?
I was ecstatic when I found out how she got the last name Loomis. As far as finding out about my mother's side, that I couldn't find any information out. There was very little information out there. My mother is no longer with us, and she didn't have any information. So to find out the exact connection that Augusta had, where how she got the Loomis name and where she came from was just really rewarding. It's bittersweet, of course, because I can't share that with my mother. It's opened up a whole new line of folk that I never even knew existed. And it's been wonderful to share that with different family members, with my immediate family also.
Has it always interested you since, like, you were a kid, or is it more of a recent?
I think as I got older, I started to become more interested in my ancestors and extended family. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of extended family, but as the tools became available for me to research different lines, I took advantage and I just started. And as I went along, I got more interested in it as I uncovered different things that just kind of like were like wow moments. And I think that's why I really got started.
How has being involved with your genealogy and exploring your family history sort of changed the way you go about your life, or if in any way?
It hasn't changed the way I've gone about my life, but what it has done is given more of a sense of belonging. I was raised in Hamden. I live in Hartford now. When I found out I had so many connections in Hartford, Connecticut, and how far my family history went back in Hartford County on my mother's side, it gave me a sense of grounding and belonging. I feel like, wow, I walk down the street and I could be like, oh, that could be my relative or that could be my relative. Of course, I don't know any, but on both the Elkie side of my mother's side and the Loomis side, there are huge families in the area. So it really gave me a sense of I belong here. I realized I was passing my great grandmother's grave site numerous times a week because I shop in Glastonbury, and the cemetery in her headstone is little. You can see it from the highway. Things like that bring you full circle. What I've gotten out of this, as far as the awareness of who I am and where I belong. Well, we belong all over, but I feel just like I belong here more now than I did before.
A lot of the people we've spoken with, you guys met through Ancestry, and I just was wondering,
I did.
how has that experience, just kind of meeting someone through this website and.
That's been really that's been very rewarding. Most of the people I've met have been through ancestry, through developing my tree and making connections. Some I've met on Facebook because as you know, you have to kind of be a sleuth and explore all avenues when you're looking for people. But it has been absolutely amazing to know that I have cousins, so many cousins on my mother's side, and those cousins are just from one line, the Augusta Loomis James Anderson tree. There are, I believe, four more out there, and we haven't discovered any of those descendants yet. But just to know that there's so many people from that one particular line is just amazing. On my mother's side, this is all new within the last 2 years of discovering where she came from. My mother had none of her family history to pass down. She had no pictures, she had nothing. So, as far as any stories, pictures, legacies, traits, anything like that, there is just nothing.
I guess how does that inform the way you research your own as like moving forward, you know, not having, I guess, the steps behind you, like how does that guide the way you research your family?
Well, I just build on ideas. I build, through research, through connecting the dots. And moving forward, that's the only thing that I can do. That's what basically what I've been doing, thinking out of the box. And sometimes you land somewhere. Sometimes you find that that you were headed down the wrong path. But you have to look at it.
What have been some of the most significant challenges with navigating your research?
I don't consider them challenges. I don't consider anything like that a challenge because anything that you learn is, you're one step ahead. I don't expect to learn anything, but I hope to learn things.
Mm-hmm.
Has your journey with genealogy inspired you to document more of your history? Like, do you take more photos? Are there different ways that you try to pass down the past?
I think they take more photos, period. What I do is I try to pass down what I learned to my nieces and nephews and to their kids, if they're interested. And, little things that stand out, that are amazing. Like when I found out how far back my mother's family went in Connecticut, 1700s on one side and the 1600s on another side, in hopes of it sparking an interest in them.
How soon after starting your genealogy journey did you connect with Adrian? I know you guys were friends, right?
Oh, many years. It's
Mm-hmm.
over a decade. Yeah. I started this back in 2011,
Mm-hmm.
and I connected with Adrian as far as genealogy goes within the last couple of years.
And so, how do you think connecting with Adrian has influenced the way you go about it?
It's influenced it greatly. Adrian is the one who told me about the Elkie line. She's the one who discovered my Elkie ancestors, which was huge for me. At that point, I knew who Augusta Loomis was. I knew where she came from, but I knew nothing about her mother, Mary Elkie, Elkie's life. And just to get that information just completely blew my mind. It's opened up a whole new world of leads and to Long Island and to the Shinnecock Indians and to Simsbury. And so that part has been completely and totally amazing. And it's inspired me to look more into my mother's history now that I have more to go on. It makes it a lot easier.
I guess what do you see as the sort of, I guess maybe not the next steps, but where do you see, what kind of direction do you want to continue to go with as you continue to look into your history?
My goal really is just to build my tree out, to find as many connections as possible. If I can actually meet any of these people, that's just the the cream on top of the cake. But basically, it's just to find out where I come from and to have it documented, to document it, so that if moving forward, if somebody wants that information, one of my nieces or nephews or one of their kids or future generations, they have it.
And did you have any questions for us just about the website or any of the things we're putting together?
Not offhand. I'm just waiting to see what you come up with. Adrian mentioned that so far what she's seen has been amazing, which is very inspiring. I thank you for doing it. I mean, it's just I think it's just a great thing to do. It's so much fun to find, to find your family lineage.
Yeah.
I think that part is amazing.
Thank you for including us and like
Yeah,
welcome
thank you.
space.
No, it's my pleasure. It's all Adrian's design. Okay.
Yeah.
So much.
Have a great day.
Great. Thanks. You too.